Hey guys, and welcome back again to my channel, The Appalachian Home. So today we are going to be making some very neat Christmas ornaments. These can go on your tree. They can also be used other times of the year just for decoration, but we're going to be making these. We're going to be using our Cricut maker today on most of these projects, but then for a couple of them we're just going to have fun and make some cute little ornaments. So you don't have to have your maker on all of these, but I am going to be using it today for most of these projects. So first we're going to be doing these leather ornaments. I've saw these in a couple of stores for sale this Christmas. So we're going to be making our own using some leather and some vinyl stencils. So this leather I actually got at Walmart, and it is just in the fabric section. It's pretty thin. It looks really high end, and I love it because it was very inexpensive. I'm just cutting some squares to fit on my Cricut mats, and then I'm going to let my Cricut do the rest of the work and cut out some different shapes to do the ornaments. And I am using a strong grip mat, and I'm also going back over and taping around all the edges so that when my machine cuts these, my material does not move. To cut this kind of material, I am going to be using my knife blade today, so I'll leave a link up above in the cards if you want to check out a video on how to use the Cricut knife blade. But I just installed this in my machine, and I'm going to be cutting out some squares and circles with the knife blade. And it was really simple. I just went into Cricut Design Space and I designed some squares that were about 2.5 by 6 inches, and also made some shapes that were circles, and these are about 3.5 to 4 inches, but you can do whatever size and whatever shapes that you want to do. After that, I just went and poked some holes in the tops of all of the sides. You can just do this using a pair of hole punchers. Now you just want to put two sides wrong sides together, and I am sewing around the outer edges of all of these ornaments. If you don't sew, then that's perfectly fine. You can skip this step and just glue the two sides together. I just wanted both of my sides to look like leather, so that's why I'm sewing these together. But again, you can just skip this step and glue the two sides together. You can also use some quilt batting. This is just some really thin cotton quilt batting that I also got at Walmart. It gives the ornaments a little bit of a thick feel and makes them kind of poofy in the middles when you go around to sew them. That's also an option, and as you can see here, it kind of makes them a little bit thicker. To stencil these, I just cut some stencils with some temporary vinyl on my Cricut, and these designs I just created directly in Design Space, and some of the round ones I actually found on Etsy, and I uploaded those to Design Space and cut those out on this temporary vinyl. I'm just using some transfer tape, and I'm transferring that over to the ornaments, and after I get my transfer tape off, I'm going to be stenciling these using actually some stain. I wanted a branded look to this leather, that's why I'm using stain, but you can also definitely use brown paint or black paint or whatever color that you want to work with. But I'm taping up the sides not to get any stain on the sides of the ornament, and I'm just going to be using a paper towel and stenciling these. To finish these, the last thing I did was just add some string to hang these to the Christmas tree. Next, we're going to be working on these simple bead ornaments. You don't have to have a Cricut to do these. These are simple and anyone can do them. I'm just using some jute string and some different sizes of beads. These beads you can get on Amazon. I'll link them down below, but they're 4 different sizes. They come in large, which I believe is 1 inch, medium, which is 3/4 inch. I'm using small, which is 1/2 inch, and then extra small, which is about 1/4 inch. You'll also need some jute string, and I'm just tying a loop on one end, and I'll be placing the beads in a pattern to make the ornaments. I'm also using this large needle, and I found this at Walmart in the sewing aisle, but this is great for this jute string because the jute string is so thick, but I can easily put it through the eye, and then that way I can place the beads on the needle and work them easily down the rope. I love these little mini canvas flags, and this is the next project or ornaments that we're going to be working on today. I'm just going to be using some scrap cloth that I actually got from some drop cloth material. You'll also need a ruler and some scissors. So making these was so easy. I just cut some strips that were about 4 inches by 7 inches. You can also make them different sizes. I ended up trimming these down a bit to make them a little bit narrower, but just take some scraps of fabric and cut yourself some squares. Then you want to angle in the ends to make a little point on the bottom of the flag. Now I'm just ironing them off flat because I'm going to be placing some iron-on decals to these little flags. I'm also ironing down a 1-inch fold at the top, and that's going to make room for our wooden dowel. Then I'm taking this over to my sewing machine, and the reason that I'm sewing a line of stitches around the edges is to make sure that the edges don't fray, and I'm actually going to be fraying the edges up to the seam to give it a little fringe around the edges. Now I'm just going to use my Cricut Easy Press to iron on some little iron-on decals. If you're new to my channel and you don't know how to do iron-ons, I'll link a video up above so that you guys can see exactly how I do all of my iron-ons and all of my decals. But I just created all of these little images and letters in Design Space, and I believe all of these came from Design Space, but you can definitely upload your own images if you want to. But I created 3 to fit on the size of flags that I have, and I have weeded those out, and I'm just going to iron them on with my easy press. You can also use an iron. If you have a Cricut and you want to use your regular iron, I will leave a link down in the description box. You can follow Cricut's heat guide. It will tell you all the settings that you need to use when you're doing iron-ons for drop cloth material and all other materials. But for this one, I'm just setting my heat press for 315 degrees, and I'm ironing these each for 30 seconds on the front and 15 seconds on the back. Now I'm just taking some little wooden dowels, and these are actually skewers that I got from Walmart, so I'm cutting them in half, but Walmart also does have the actual wooden dowels. So I'm going to be putting those through the top, and I'm going to be tying a little string to attach this to the tree. So our last project, and probably my favorite ornament, are these little leather feathers. I've been practicing doing some leather earrings using some of this faux leather material. I got this from Amazon. I'll leave a link for it, but it was super inexpensive, and I just drew some feathers in Inkscape and uploaded them into Cricut. I'll also leave a link for this file if you guys want to do this project, but I thought these were so cute. You could use this also for some earrings as well as ornaments. I'll leave the sizes here on the screen for the large, medium, and small feathers. So for the material settings, I'm going to be using suede, and to find suede, I'm just typing in fabric, and then I'm scrolling down until I find suede. Typing in fabric and then finding suede under your fabric is going to allow you to use your rotary blade, and that is the little wheel that cuts. The knife blade sometimes wants to crunch up leather, and it totally ruins your material. So I'm using the rotary blade. This seems to go a lot smoother on the cutting process. And I'm going to be using my strong grip mat that's going to really grip this leather, and I'm also placing the leather face down. That keeps the fuzz from the back of the leather from sticking to my mat and ruining my mat. But as you can see, I've already done some test cuts for these feathers, and they turned out great. So I'm just going to be installing my rotary blade. And this is what your rotary blade should look like. I believe this came with my Explorer 2, but if not, you can go find this on Cricut's website. But I just placed that in the slot for your cutting blade. So after all of these were finished cutting, I just punched some holes with my leather punch and added some ornament hangers to the top. So I hope you guys enjoyed doing all of these ornaments. I also did some ceramic ones and round wooden bead ones that I didn't put in this video, but I hope you enjoyed all of these. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments, and if you liked this video, give me a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. I have all kinds of content just like this. So again, thank you guys for watching, and I will see you back again in my next video.